You cook. If you had a bad day, you cook. If you got, fired from your job, or if you had a promotion.
What if your wife cheat on you, man?
If your wife cheats on you, then you cook also, right? That's it. So like I said, it doesn't matter how bad your day was or what you're going through life. I mean, you have no choice. This is part of, a core aspect of human life, that at the end of the day, you have to draw your knife out, you get the food out, you put your oil on the pan, and then you put it on the stove or on the fire, and then somehow that way, well, life goes on, right? And we're done cutting our chicken, and the next thing we're going to do is take an egg, and then I'm missing you. Can you give me a fork, please? Give me a fork. A fork.
A fork?
Yeah, a fork.
Another fork.
A fork.
Another fork.
Another bit. So anyways, you just go and you stir it in there. If you have 2 chicken breasts, if you're doing it for 2 chicken breasts, then you can put 2 eggs in there also. But you just mix it up, and then make sure you got everything in there, and then that's it. And then you move on to the other part. You get flour. You just get some multi-purpose flour, and then you're just gonna sort of spread it on here. There you go. That sounds just about right. Okay. So ideally, you want to be doing this with chopsticks if you know how to use them. You just take a piece of chicken here. You see it's covered in the egg, and then you toss it on the flour. You can do a couple at a time here. Here's another one, and here's another one, and it's basically very simple. You just open it up, make sure that it's well opened up, cover it up in flour, and toss it. There you go. And then this is done. So it seems very simple, but we cut up a few pieces in here, so it's just going to take a little bit of time. Like I say, I cannot stress enough, I really recommend you do this with chopsticks. If you try to do it with a fork, or worse, by hand, it might be a bit of a nightmare. Using chopsticks is not that difficult. Depends how much exposure you've had to Asian culture when you were a kid. When I was a child, my father's best friend used to be a Vietnamese man, and he had escaped during the Vietnam War, and they were really fond of each other. We used to go out as families, both our families together. And then I remember one day, I think I was about 7 or 8 years old, and we were out, and we were in a Vietnamese restaurant, and I think he had a few drinks in him, and he went and he started telling the story of how he had escaped from a children's prison camp from Vietnam, and basically where kids were dying in there, and he had never gotten to see his parents ever again. They were killed by the communists, and at some point, he had tears sort of rolling down his eyes. I think we were at a restaurant, other people were sort of eavesdropping on it, and the restaurant was a bit silent, and then. So he had tears rolling down his eyes, and so at some point he just decided to, stop it there when he was done. And then he turned around, he turned next to me, and then he said, well, you're pretty young. I think, you can learn chopsticks. It's really not that bad. So, and I'll never forget that night, he sort of leaned over, and then he taught me how to use chopsticks. So that's when I learned. He taught me a very simple way, which is the crossed way. There you go. Most Asian people will tell you that this is not okay. Asians, being sometimes purists, they'll say, no, you should have it the other way, which is, hold on, let me get it. I can't really do it properly, but it's like that. And I don't have enough practice with it, and so I just always revert to the crossed way. I could change, I guess, if I put the effort into it, but I sort of like my story of how I learned to use chopsticks, and just in memory of that man, which was a really nice guy. He got me like a huge train set for Christmas at some point, so that was kind of cool. And then you're gonna get some buildup of egg and flour every once in a while. Periodically, you just want to sort of get it out, because otherwise it's gonna look like you got drumsticks, and it's going to be really sticky. So get it out there, and then you just keep going like this for the rest of your chicken breast. So there's many reasons why you might be wanting doing this recipe. I'm just taking a little break here. If you're like me and you got no Valentine, and then you're basically stuffing yourself with Valentine chocolate that by now has gone on sale, and then you just want some comfort food, right? Something that's going to make you feel not so bad. Have some buddies over, eat it with some beer and whatnot, and that could be a very, very good reason to do this recipe, which is a big part of why I'm doing this today. And yeah, that's it.
Do you guys even care about Valentine's Day?
Are you guys
Do
having
they?
Valentine's?
No, I don't think most guys do.
Oh, okay. Do you feel bad?
Do I feel bad?
Yeah, you're here watching. I don't know. Is this hockey or what?
No, it's the Olympics.
Oh, it's the Olympics.
I
Oh,
don't feel
okay.
bad.
No?
Yeah,
No, I'm going out to see
my
movies with my
Valentine for the
girlfriends.
past few years has always been the Space Channel.
The
So
Space
I love you, the Space Channel. That's usually my Valentine, right? On a 4th.
Seriously, do you guys like actually even like know that it's Valentine's Day if they're single?
If I had a girlfriend,
Do they?
maybe I put some effort
No.
into figuring something out.
Yeah,
What's
do you,
the
do you even know?
Valentine's
Do you
Day?
even know it was Valentine's Day when you woke up this morning? No.
It's not like it's Christmas or anything.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
It's not a
no,
real
but
holiday.
still.
Yes.
But it's a fun holiday.
Well, you know, for the first time this year, I said maybe I can do an effort and try to get myself a Valentine. But you know, either it's just not working, or 2, they have boyfriends, or 3, it's just not working, right? So what do you want me to do? I'm here doing Tao chicken with General Tao chicken with buddies, and that's it. We're just gonna be eating it together, us poor single souls, and so. There you go.
Oh man.
And so,
Oh man.
this being said, we got, we're pretty much done. Actually, you're gonna see it being finished here, and there you go. Last little bits, and that's about it. Flour. So, what we can get from this is that the original amount of flour we're putting is a little bit too much, so put less flour. Yeah, you know what? Like usually, just buying like a really, really thick. Okay, we got some light here. Usually, and we got some guests also. And yeah, if you want to keep warm, usually the best thing is just to layer up.
Yeah.
A lot of people they buy like really, really bulky and really, really warm jackets, and then they're going in and out of buildings. They realize that it's not the best. Like you just break sweats and all that. And so layer up is usually the best.
Yeah, 'cause if you get too hot, you can just take each layer off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, one thing I want to say about deep frying, if you start, going and saying that I want to deep fry with like olive oil and whatnot, it's just going to be very expensive. Actually, last time I did this, I did some deep frying and I conserved some of the oil. You put it in a bowl, you let it decant, and then, this is still good for like another round. So there you go. This is from last time. And
You're using recycled oil?
well, when you deep fry it, right, the oil is still good, and you just get some particles in the end. You just dump it in a bowl, you let it settle, and then that oil, that remains on top is still good. It's absolutely good. And then you just sort of add it with new oil. Don't go out buying like virgin olive oil, because this is just it's gonna get really expensive. So if you just
So
can
cheap
get
oil, a lot.
cheap oil and a lot, you want the pieces to be covered completely. You do it in a big wok. So our friend here agrees that when people get cheated on, they like to cook.
Yeah, you cook. You slam your knife down a bit, get all the anger out.
Okay. So you get, and by the way, I'm gonna make a comment here. We're cooking in Australia house, so we got a little Australian
Represent.
Australia represents. So we got some students from Australia, and they're here. And then there's this guy from
And we're-
Korea. Okay. What do you want to have before? You got your chicken, you got your wok, the oil, maximum tongs, and then on the side you got a plate here. We got a nice little plate with dots. You put some paper towels. You want to have the paper towels because when you start getting them out of the deep frying, they're just going to stack up, and if the oil goes down to the bottom, they're just going to get soggy. So please use paper towels, get it to suck out the extra fat. Another question that people ask is, how do you know if the oil is ready? Don't, obviously you can sort of put your hand on top, and don't put your finger in there. If you've got your tongs, just dip them in a little bit of flour here, and when you put them in, you see they start to sizzle. Then you know that the oil is ready. So here we go. 1, there you go, and then we start the chain.
Oh, wow.
1, 2, 3,
So you have to put everything in,
4.
or?
5. No, usually you'll do it in about 3 batches.
Okay.
What was I, 6? Well, actually, it doesn't really matter. Put them in a circle.
And how do you know if they're cooked?
we'll see. We're gonna monitor this very carefully. And the big question is here: